you after your counsel. So I have to do this live stream. I went ahead and I tried again. Even got hung up by the trial attorney today, which we're the only person in this case so far that I thought maybe, but that's okay. When I called her on the fact that Dan Spencer, the attorney that I showed yesterday, had this, whoever this investigator come out on my house, I could have shot him dead and I did not. So they're risking their community members. You can see on the live stream, I asked him to identify himself. Asked him if he had a warrant. He said he didn't. He just kept coming towards me, and I had no idea if he was armed. They've already sent 29 people or 30 some people with armored vehicles and shot me. So this is not a sensational live stream. This is an emergency broadcast to try to call it action. I need people to call Lake County District Attorney's office and let them know that I'm live streaming right now. They won't communicate with me. There's nothing I can do. I do feel like I'm probably going to be not here very long. I could be shot and dead today. I know that. That's probably the chance of me dying are a lot better than staying alive. The only thing that's going to protect me and keep me alive is the Father. Now, I waited, and for weeks and weeks, I told this, trial attorney what was going to go on, what I was going to finally do by posting the corruption going on in this county. And it is stirring the pot right now in this county, and I knew it would. There are a lot of people been victimized in this county, and so now I have people going in there and trying to, because they love the police out here. They've been victimized, Stockholm syndrome. Some of them are very, it's called Stockholm syndrome. So I've got people going, throw this guy off the page. He's breaking the community guidelines, when I'm only pointing out on the community page that this is for the, I love you, buddy. This is exactly why there's a community page. No big. This is exactly why there's a community page to report the goings on in this community. And when you post something on a page, stop, Dougie. Stop, Beggy. They're trying to say I'm breaking the community guidelines because I'm telling people there's victims out here and to report it. And they're like, smoke meth, not brisket, and I don't care about the victims. And my dad was a cop and you probably did something wrong. And hey, be nice. Let them go through their pants. Stop it. But I don't care. This isn't about myself, but I'm probably going to die, guys. I don't think I have longer, and only by the will of the Father will I be here probably in the next week or two. So I have pissed off. I need you to call somebody outside the state of Oregon. The only way I'm going to live is somebody gets outside of this state, brothers and sisters. I'm not a prophet. I don't have fear to die, but I do think that my son needs an advocate. They were literally trying to ramrod him yesterday. I got a subpoena from this guy. I could have shot dead on my property. He didn't listen to me. He didn't follow. I asked him if he had a warrant. He didn't know, and I told him to leave. He just kept approaching me. If I had a gun, I could have pulled my gun and put a bullet in that man's head yesterday, and there was nothing the state of Oregon, there's nothing Lake County could have done under my Fourth Amendment right. I have that right to protect. If I deem him an intruder and I told him to identify himself, he didn't have a warrant and he did not leave, he kept approaching me. They are putting community members at risk, and my life is too. Absolutely. I'd be willing to make a bet that I won't be here by December 11th on my son's court date unless I get some help from outside of this state. I don't think if I am still residing in Lake County, Oregon, that I will be alive in 3 weeks. I don't think so. This isn't sensational either. This is for real. It's really happening in my life. So I need you to call somebody outside the state of Oregon, say there's a guy, he's a veteran, he's being targeted. The police have come to his house, shot up his house. He has all the evidence that he's being targeted and the corruption. I have stacks and mounds and mounds and mounds. For example, Elijah's 180 hours. This is the investigator on his case that's supposed to be doing all legwork. You seen me ask this guy yesterday, what's going on with Elijah's 180 hours? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. This is what this case is about. The whole case is about the 180 hours. And they don't even, and they're going to send it to trial. This is for me to appear in front of in my son's behalf. When I'm going to go in there I don't have any counsel. I don't even have an attorney under my Miranda rights. They swatted this house. They have to Mirandize you before they accost your body. And take you, show you warrants. Now, they don't have any footage, body cam footage of me being Mirandized. I've never been Mirandized. That's illegal. That gets this case dropped. There's so many things that I have that are done illegally in this case, to include the judge, the district attorney, but I'll probably end up dead, guys. I'm not being sensational either. Not at all. Not at all. You don't think so? Go watch hundreds of hours of live streaming, me trying to plead to the state of Oregon, do not bring men with guns in here. My son pleading to them. No guns, no violence. Let's have the communication about these 180 hours that were completed back in 2021. This case is that old, and this attorney thinks in one day. I just got hung up on the trial attorney, and this is very worrisome because she's the only one. I said, Dan Spencer, if he represented, and I've already called the bar, the Oregon State Bar, if Dan Spencer represented myself, my son, and my daughter, that's 3 people. You can't co-counsel. You can't co-counsel on a dueling defendant on the same. You have to find another attorney, and they did not do that multiple times. And I told her that this time she hung up on me. Yeah, she hung up. It was like very surprising. So I'll probably live stream. The cops will probably show up, and I'm not going to sit there and take their bullshit. So please do something, call to action. It's been fun, guys, but I don't think this channel's going to be up too much longer. I don't think I'm going to be here too much longer. I just have a bad feeling, according to what has happened already. So this is the worst thing I could have ever heard. And what I find rather ironic, too, right here, I showed yesterday. This is Dan Spencer quitting as Elijah's attorney back in June. This is supposedly Elijah's attorney sending me, the same one sending me a summons. He quit. I showed that. He already quit. Just like my attorney up and quit. After 6 months, they finally were able to get an attorney. They couldn't find anybody from this county because there's only 2. That's why Elijah's attorney represented me. They don't even have enough legal counsel here. There's only 2 prosecuting or 2 public defenders down here. And so they actually had to turn me out of jail. Extra week, they kept me in there illegally. That will get this case dropped. Illegally. An extra week, Elijah's attorney, he was representing me, saying, let this guy out. He can't represent me and my son. I'm 100% certain. Well, I'm not, about 99% certain now, because I got hung up on that Dan Spencer did represent Adriana. So I told this trial lady that a man could have been shot and dead yesterday, and I'd have been 100% justified to do so. If you look on the live stream, he came onto the property, stopped, and I said, who are you? Do you have a warrant? And he said, no. I said, get off this property now. He kept coming. He could have had a gun and shot me, and I would have been justified. They already sent men with guns on this property, so. And left deposits of a powdery substance. So what the hell was on this? What was on this? I didn't know. So I called 911. I actually called 911. I don't call 911. I call 911 because I don't know what's on this. There still could be something on this that I still don't know what is. That might take a week or a month to kill me. I don't know. And all I know is he didn't stop. He just kept coming towards me. I would have been legally justified under the 4th Amendment to shoot that man dead on my property, and he couldn't have, the state or the county couldn't have did a damn thing. I guarantee you this would not be happening today. Not at all. Not under the Constitution. You have the right to be secure in your house's papers, persons, and effect. You have the right to, warrantless search or seizure. You can't come on my property. If somebody wanders on your property, you just can't shoot them, brothers and sisters. Know your rights. But you have the right to deem them an intruder if they're going to cause harm to your persons, property, effects, your animals. You can deem them an invader, an intruder, and you can apply the force necessary to eliminate that threat. or that invader. I could have shot a man dead yesterday, dead, and I did not do a damn thing, and they sat there, came and shot me, my son. I'm tired of this. Call somebody in this county. Would be Ted Martin, but please, I'm only going to be alive if you call somebody outside of the state of Oregon, because it was the state of Oregon who swatted my house and not even show, kidnapped my daughter by not even being on this warrant. They took her body. Under your Miranda rights, you can't do that. They have to show probable cause. It has to be listed on the warrant. They have to show you the warrant. She's not on the warrant. They illegally kidnapped. They are kidnapping people here in this state. You don't think so? Look into the case. Yeah. You want to help out a teacher and a pastor? I pastor the gospel. I get attacked enough as it is for that already. But I don't need this extra. I'm probably not going to live, guys. That sucks, because who's going to represent my son? Nobody's going to stand up for him. This is happening because I'm standing up for my son, this community, and this country. I am being targeted by Lake County Police Department. I am being targeted by the Sheriff's Department. I am being targeted by Tom Rourke. Yeah, they are. I'm being targeted by Lake County Sheriff's Office, who has been harassing. I told them, call me, we can straighten all this out. Just one call, fix all this. They didn't care. They still ran over all the property. I busted down all this livestock kennels, all my livelihood to raise animals. I'm a farmer and a homesteader. They said they weren't going to cause more damage, and they continued after they left to run over everything on the way out. Run everything on the way in, and what doesn't ever run over, run the rest of it on the way out. And he said that state trooper said he wouldn't do that. He asked me for the code to the gate because it was shut. I gave it to him immediately. Did he have a body cam? I want to request under discovery evidence and write. I can't. I'm going to be dead, guys. I already feel it. I already know it, because I'm getting emails, like I said, or I posted today in this community, little hick town, that the sheriffs were corrupt, and it is causing a shitstorm in this county. I mean, these people are pissed. I mean, it has got this town in an uproar. And I just spoke with the trial, Abigail, and I told her weeks ago I was going to do this. And I said, Abigail, I tried everything I can, and now I did this. And so this is it. My days are numbered, Abigail. I'm probably going to die. They want to shoot me. That they were bragging and went to the restaurant that's what was going to happen. There was this armed standoff, and they were going to kill me dead. So they already have a record of this. So this is not a sensational live stream. This is my life. I have been targeted. My son has been targeted. My daughter was kidnapped. My son was shot. And they won't do anything about it. And who do I call now? 911? They're crooked. You're not supposed to police. They're not supposed to police the police. So I need you to call somebody at a federal level. If you can call Ted Martin's office and tell them I'm live streaming so they know. Then I already pushed the whole cards in. I'm all in now. I'm all in until either they come and drop this case on my son, which they don't apparently think that there's probably, it would take, I know that because my son and I had the same case, the 108 hours, same case. I called an attorney in Douglas County, or Deschutes County, Oregon, in Bend, Oregon. And I called because that's the closest, largest city to me. Portland be the next. And he said he doesn't even have the bandwidth to do this case. I can't take that case. It's too large. And they think they're going to take this to trial in a day or something. And then I'm going to go in there and testify. And then I asked this investigator, what about my son's 180 hours? Why you guys are already doing, why I'm standing against this, all this, because I have 100% proof he did all these 5 witnesses, cellular data. I have all the evidence. I asked this investigator yesterday, you can see on the live stream, I said, what about Elijah's 180 hours? I don't know anything about that. That is what makes me think I'm going to lose my life, brothers and sisters. I think they're just going to push this thing through, and I'll become the victim, and I'll be dead, and you guys will it'll be a story that you'll see in the news or something. I'll become breaking news. So it is what it is. I'm not living in fear. I'm just trying to still help this community while I have days left on this rock. I want to try to be as, efficient as I can. And I don't want to make anybody else the victim. But I mean, I had paperwork said my son's attorney quit. And then he's his attorney. This attorney represented me. When I told that to Abigail, and I said, and then he represented Adriana too. That she hung up on me. I don't know what. I think Adriana took a charge, guys. I think my daughter, they kidnapped her and put her in jail. She's scared out of her life. They threatened her with 2 felony hindering prosecution, interfering with a peace officer, Class C felonies, and a Class A misdemeanor of criminal conspiracy. Without warrant. They didn't show a warrant. They didn't have. There couldn't have been a secret indictment. That had to have been shown they would have been shown here with the probable cause on the warrant. So the state of Oregon is kidnapping people. Call somebody now, please, or don't stay in here. I don't want to. You're going to become part of this evidence. But if you're willing to do that, then go ahead and make a call with them, because they can't get you in your state. Call somebody in your state right now, or please don't stay in here. I don't want to. I'm not going to waste my time. I won't waste yours. Please don't hang out here. They've already mentioned under the right of discovery the word YouTube. So that means you are on this stream and you will become part of the this investigation, or it just gets swept in the rug and I'll die and my son will go to prison someday with all the evidence that he did all his hours, and this will just get swept under the rug because things like this happen. And when people like this speak up, they get shot dead and killed before they can get it taken care of. That does happen, People die speaking up for their rights, and people die for speaking up for the rights of the others because people don't have a voice. Some people speak up and they lose their life because of that. You're looking at somebody who probably will. So, oh boy, this freaking Facebook page is getting lit up, guys. I mean, they are freaking pissed in this community. So, anyways, let me see them. Hold on one second. All right, this is going to get good. This is going to get good. This is good. So, not like that, but these people, it's pretty funny, man. These people are just absolutely been polarized by this county out here. There's people who are just massive bootlickers out here. Love the corruption of these cops. But anyway, somebody said something that I spelt victim wrong, and I had to, what was that all about? So they got the word police out here, and but anyways, I'm not concerned for my safety at this point. I'm concerned for the safety of the community. I'm concerned for the safety of the state, the people within the state of Oregon. If the state of Oregon can come in and take somebody's body warrantless without arrest, that's called accosting somebody. You can't do that. And if you accost or take somebody, you have to Mirandize them. Under your Miranda rights, you have to show that probable cause. And they didn't do it. I'm going to die, guys. There's a good chance. I have a feeling, and it's okay. I mean, maybe they can get me. Maybe they won't shoot me, but they already did shoot at my son. They already did ruin my vision. They've already gone hostile. They've already used, excessive force on this property. They have shown that they will do things illegally, and I'll probably just end up being the victim of it. And I'm hoping that my son makes it through this. I don't know how my daughter will fend. I don't know what's going on with her. I'll know that I tried. I'll know that I'll try. I'll rest knowing that I gave every single attempt. I called for hundreds of hours. I called hundreds of times, hundreds of people. I have all the evidence to clear my son, but they just won't look at it, guys. And unfortunately, I do believe that it will be the death of me. And I love you guys. It's been a good run. I'm not trying to. I don't want to die. I want to pastor the gospel. I want to go fishing and catch wild caught brown trout and turn them back into the river. And but this battle isn't over. I have to fight this for the people that don't have a voice, guys. People are being victimized in this community. People are so afraid of these law enforcement officers. You heard me call call the real estate guy back that they came and swatted the house to get this warrant to come in here. And he said they're afraid. My son's attorney, John Caligo, said, if your son was in any other county, we'd have him out here. They are corrupt and they do whatever the fuck they want out there, Tracy. You're going to have to just deal with it. Why is that? Why is it that my attorney, I have cellular data, guys. Evidence will show that when I called John Caligo, my son's attorney, why would he say that to me? Why would he say that? Why would he say they do whatever the fuck they want out there, Tracy? They are corrupt. That's my attorney. A criminal attorney says this, guys. I have the real estate agent out here who owns, he's an owner. He sold thousands of acres on the live stream before they ever swatted the house. I brought his phone call in on the live stream and showed you. He said they are afraid. Community members are afraid of the heavy-handedness of these corruption of these cops, guys. I'm gonna die, guys, and I'm okay. I'm just my poor fucking dogs. Father, please give me some reservation not to curse in the stream. I'm gonna die, guys. They didn't shoot me with lethal rounds last time. They did shoot my son. I don't know if they hit him or not. I've never been able to see his body, and I know that he's alive because they're trying to take him to trial over something he did. The terms of his release from the county was that he did these things, guys. If he didn't, it would say it on his action plan. As far as community service, you ever known somebody who got in trouble and they give you community service? You got to do it. You don't do it on the last. If you get 3 years community service, you don't do it at the very end. No, you don't. And if you didn't complete it, they'll continue it on in your action plan. There's nothing. He did it. He completed it. Yet they're still swatting the house. They're still. I'm gonna die, guys. I'm gonna die. I know it. I'm like sitting here looking up like this. They're gonna come out here. They already sent this guy yesterday with this subpoena, and I could have shot him dead, guys. But I'm not violent. I'm a veteran, and I'm not violent. I teach against violence, actually. I teach you can protect yourself. And I had the right under my Fourth Amendment, under the Fourth Amendment to protect my property. I mean, that guy did not identify himself. I asked him if he had a warrant. He wouldn't. He just kept walking towards me. What if he had a gun? You know, it ended up being the investigator for this county. And then I asked him about why this whole case is based on 180 hours that my son had completed community service. And I asked this guy, supposed to be the investigator, about the 180 hours. And he said he doesn't know anything about it, guys. They're just going to run this through. This is what they do. 97% of cases take a plea bargain where they do it. They take it's 97%. Only 3% of cases go to trial. So this is very rare. And they're not liking this. This morning I posted on the Christmas Valley United page. If you want to see it, it's up on the local member page. Christmas Valley Community, Kiss My Ass, Christmas Valley page. And it stirred the pot this morning. They're pissed. And then I put in that I have a picture of the district attorney. I have a picture of Michael Taylor, the elected sheriff, and the judge out here in the state of Oregon. It says corruption. Then I posted that, and they are going ape shit out here. Guys, this small community, this is going to do it. This is going to be the one that gets me either killed or they drop it. You'll watch, you'll mark my words. There's not being two other ways. They're either going to drop this case. I will probably not be alive for this December 11th case. I don't think so. That's not too many more days I'm going to be here with you, brothers and sisters. So I enjoy your time that I've had with you on this ministry. I love you, brothers and sisters. I'm going to wait for Father. Okay. And if not, and if that's prevented, it's only by his will. If somebody's going to take my life, it's going to be because Father has allowed it, but it'll probably be because of the actions of me standing up against corruption in my county and my state, guys. Police officers go to jail. Judges go to jail. District attorneys and elected sheriffs go to jail. It's not like this doesn't happen, but in this case, I think I'm going to be the one who ends up dead, and they're probably going to end up because it's so corrupt out here. I mean, this is probably one of the most corrupt places in the United States. My attorney said, and he works throughout the whole state, he said, Tracy, if your son was in any other county in the state, I'd have him out today, but they do whatever the fuck they want there. They are Billy Bob, and they just do whatever they want. This is proof, ramming my son through without even talking about the 180 hours of probation that he was given, community service, that he completed to leave Lake County to go into Lane County. He had to have that done. I know, I was part of it. I was there at the time of my son's arrest on this charge. Cellular data was showing I was there. They brought him out to me. How have they forgotten? Because most of the police officers during this time are not here anymore. There's only one or two. And I have mounds of evidence against Sergeant Rorick in Lake County, North Lake County. I have enough evidence to convict him of criminal criminal activity. I mean, he'll probably face 15 or 20 felony charges, and it will open up a whole nother can of worms. I believe once the feds come in, and I've contacted guys, the Department of Justice, federal level, and they have not contacted me. The feds are aware of what's going on out here, and they're not doing anything about it. The Department of Justice at the state level, I've called Tina Kotek's office. I called an office that's just specially designed for this, where there's corruption within the state and the county, to call a special line. And I've left a detailed message yet. Is the only person to ever call me back is the bar, the Oregon State Bar. And I made my complaints about Dan Spencer, how he quit as my son's attorney in June, at the end of June, but in court, he represented me and my son's daughter. Brothers and sisters, if you know anything about legal and trials, and, you can't counsel two separate defendants in the same case. I'm certain he represented all three of us. That would get this case dropped out immediately. Immediately, brothers and sisters, that would get this case dropped out. You can't have co-counsel, co-defendant, be counseled by the same. So this is happening. I'm sure there's others, because there's only two. That's it. And all this is the second largest county in the state of Oregon, and there's only 2 public defenders. How do you SWAT somebody's house, go through all this, and then don't even have an attorney ready to go to prosecute it, the secret indictment? I mean, there's sets. There's like 2-3 things that this attorney represented me at least 3 times. This is the first time that he represented me for this, and you can't do that. That's illegal. That will get the case thrown out. They kept me an extra week, after swatting this house. Like, for example, another way that this case will be immediately thrown out, if we just can get somebody outside of the state of Oregon to look at this. This is a warrant which shows probable cause for my arrest and my son's arrest, but it doesn't have my daughter on here. And they accosted her body. That, under your Miranda rights, they can't do that. That's illegal. That is an illegal detainment, an illegal kidnapping. They kidnapped my daughter, and they're not being accountable for it, guys. Nobody's being held accountable. I have to be careful, guys, because they sent somebody here yesterday. I just at least want to make sure I say bye to my dogs like last time. Last time, I don't want my poor dogs are going to end up. One of my dogs have to suffer. My dog had to be taken from this property because of 6 tear gas canisters that were shot in a 10x40, this 10x40 cabin that I built. They lobbed 6 tear gas canisters. My poor dogs had to stay in. Remember when the war, and I shut the door and I knew they were in here. That's so hard, laid in here. This dog, this 140-pound dog, had to be taken from the property. He was suffering from this respiratory breathing, the tear gas. The other one, he just wouldn't leave. He bloodied somebody's hand trying to get him off the property. He wanted to wait till Dad was out of jail. So my kitties, my poor kitties were in here. My little baby kitties, they just kept lobbing. And I ate 5 tear gas canisters, guys, not in violence, not being in here grabbing guns. I was getting my clothes on, and I was telling them I would come out without any weapons. I'll only have my phone so I can record it. But I'm not being violent. I just need to get some telephone numbers so somebody can take it. They just kept lobbing tear gas canisters in here, trying to get me to come out and grab a gun so they can shoot me, guys. They're going to shoot me. They're going to shoot me this time. I know it. They're just going to try to shoot me. I feel it with all my gut. I got a pretty good intuition. I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in prophecy. I'm not a prophet. I can see things coming. The Greek word is prognosko. I'm a teacher and I'm a pastor, and I'm telling you, they're going to shoot this pastor. They're going to do it. They don't, unless somebody can help me. It's going to cost my flesh. And they've already ruined my vision. They've already shot at me with the tear gas canisters, 5 or 6 that I've had to breathe. I breathed for weeks, and they already hit me in the face with the headshot with a concussion grenade. They headshotted me, and I don't know where they shot my son, but they did hit me, and it did concuss right in my face. So I was showing you yesterday, eye is ruined. This eye is starting to sink in. Notice the difference in the eye. It's starting to go back. I'm probably going to lose my eye. So, but I'm not going to go to the doctor. So I'm just going to deal with it. If I lose my vision, I lose my vision. I already have just a big, massive, like there's a big piece of hair with a bunch of dirt, and it's just it's hard to get used to, but I don't care about my flesh. I care about my son. My son's going to get raped in prison, brothers and sisters, possibly. And I have all the evidence to show he did all the things. He couldn't have left the county. If my son would have not done his probation, he was put on felony probation, supervised. One of 5 guys. He's one of 5, all involved in the same exact theft of some abandoned buildings that are out here. I live in the middle of nowhere. People come out here for a year and they leave. They can't make it out here. So there's lots and lots of empty buildings out here. Just sit here and they just apologize. The other day I cleaned this. I didn't know that there was another. I had missed one of the. I kept wondering what was going on. And I thought I was okay, but I cleaned behind the water cooler, and there was some egg cartons, and I didn't see behind the egg cartons that there was a tear gas had hit the back of the wall. So I cleaned it and I was breathing it in. And so I have this, whatever's going on my right side. And I've been having kind of a, breathing tear gas is toxic. It can harm you, scar you permanently, brothers and sisters. So I sat in here with my animals for 2 weeks and breathed it and cleaned it up. And it takes a professional cleaning company to clean up. I don't know where that tear gas canister, I lost it yesterday. Probably better that I don't have it. Oh, here it is. Yesterday, there was some actual tear gas that came out the back of this. I seen the swirl of it. So there's some residue in there still, but this whole back wall was covered because this window, they shot 3 through here, and I think 4 or 5 through here. They hit the side of the shutter and the window, broke the casing. They shot a lot of them. I know 5 or 6 of them made them in when I was in here. One of these that's enough to take most people, and they can't hardly breathe. But I am a veteran, and I have been CS gassed. I'm a military police. I'm a prior bootlicking law enforcement officer myself. So I know I'm not a bootlicker, but a jackboot thug. I don't lick boots of sheriffs or cops because they're tyrants, and I know because I used to be one. So this tear gas canister, yeah, definitely need to get some help there. You got it for sure. Freedom Fighters Assembly. This guy calls them Freedom Fighters Assembly. This person's trying to reach out to other people, and he's telling me, let's listen to this idiot called Freedom Fighters Assembly Live. We'll read the idiocracy, like the people who are Stockholm Syndrome out here in this valley. You have the right on your First Amendment to speak up, and as a veteran, you're welcome there. Fighters for your right to speak up. People like me, you have that right. You can thank the Father more than anything. So let's go ahead and read this idiot's freedom fighter. Dum, da, dum, dum, dum. And it's a teacher and a pastor. Let me give you a little gem. There's no such thing as free will. So you might want to think about what your name says. So anyways, let's read this idiot. Idiot means idiotos, a simple man, uneducated, unskilled, lame man. Layman, very simple. Doesn't probably even know what the hell he's talking about. So let's read this idiot's thing. Just get help, man. Like he cares. Like help from who? That's what the fuck I'm doing, you idiot. You are self-sabotaging your life. How do you know anything about me? You don't know shit from Shinola, buddy. You don't know anything in this case. Why don't you go through the hundreds of hours of live streaming I just did, and then the hundreds of hours of live streaming I did before the SWAT raid, and go through the hundreds of phone calls that were made trying to get help. I think you need some help because you don't care about your country if you're in America and you have freedom in your name. You need to get some help, man. Maybe this is what everybody does. Oh, you need to get a psychological. I'm not certified in psychology or pharmaceutical medicine or psychiatry or have an ND or an MD, but hold on, let me make an evaluation. You need help, Freedom. You need some, let me put him on some drugs. Let me get him some Adderall. These people are drug pushers. When you ever see somebody that says they want somebody to get help, that means they want them to go get the big farm guy and get put on some drugs. He's a drug pusher. So Freedom is a drug pusher. So anyways, he says, like he knows anything about my life. You are self-sabotaging, causing all of this trouble and crying to people that don't even know you and don't live in your town. You need to get help. Let's go ahead. You're the one saying your life is in danger because you so much trouble in our town. That's why the court is mandating you to get a mental evaluation. Nobody's in need to get a medical. Look at how fast your mood just switched. You need to get help. Okay. So this is I'm going to teach, brothers and sisters. I'm a teacher. The word called demon is a distributor of fortunes or lies. This Freedom Fighters Assembly Live is a liar. 100% blatant liar. There's been no evaluation, or I didn't even have an attorney. They've done nothing on my end of the case. So Freedom is a liar and a demon. That is an idolater means somebody who a distributor of fortunes or lies to self. So he believes his own bullshit and then is going to spread that bullshit in here by saying that, what was this? Because of you, so much trouble in our town. Oh, are you part of our town? Are you in this town? Oh, is it somebody? I told you they're been victimized out here, brothers and sisters. They got the Stockholm syndrome. So check this out. Are you in my town? Our town? You said our town? So tell me, where do you live, freedom fighter? You live in this town? You are you're a piece of work. So look at how fast your mood just switched. You need also now we've got another now not only is he local. He's local. Are you local? Why don't you answer the question? Do you live in Lake North or South Lake County, Oregon? Because you can find all this public information. They haven't even assigned me an attorney. How in the hell would they be able to sign a psychological? This is a liar. This is a person who just outright will lie to you, brothers and sisters, cares nothing for this town or the victims of the community. And these residents of this community is probably maybe the sheriff's office. Because I told the sheriff, I stirred the pot today. So, okay, cool. So you live in Lake County, or so you don't care about any of these victims, do you? In this county from Sergeant Rorick. Yeah, look at all the criminal activity up here in North Lake County going on. So why don't you tell everybody that you just lied? I'll let you stay in here or I'll get you out of here because you're a liar. You're a liar. You just lied, blatantly lied. They haven't even given me any legal counsel under my Miranda rights. So how could they sign he's mandated for a psychological evaluation. You're a liar. You know that? I have lying people who live in my community that are bootlickers, just like this guy. They love these cop suckers. They love being run by Sergeant Rorick and Josh Bezel and Ted Martin down here, criminal. Do you care about, okay, so Freedom, can you tell me anything about who Tina is? Tell me about Tina in her case, since you live in this town. Tell me about Tina, a lady who found in the restaurant, or in our little restaurant, the Coopers, the Chev Mart. You know what the Chev Mart is? Tell me what the gas station is right now, Freedom. Tell me what our gas station is right now. I'm going to tell if you're a community member. What's the gas station up here in North Lake County? What is the gas station up here in North Lake County? I'm going to give you 2 seconds. You don't need long to answer. I'm just going to moderate you because you're the problem in this county. You don't care about people being victimized like Tina. Okay, so you don't know what the gas station is. Please properly leave now. Don't stay in here because I don't want you in here. You're not going to call Ted Martin. You have no balls at all. You don't care about Lake County at all. You're not part of resident. I don't believe you. I think you're a liar already. You already lied about me being mandated. They haven't even appointed me an attorney, liar. You're a liar. By definition, you're a distributor of fortunes. Okay? So, Lake County, Oregon, BH. So he can't tell me the gas station. He's not a resident of this county. You're a liar and you already lied. Oh, you know what the sheriffs are doing, but you don't even know the gas station. You're a liar. And you said that they were mandating, so you're lying. You're a liar. You're a liar. You lied to this. You absolutely pushed a lie. And you couldn't tell me where its gas station was. So goodbye, freedom. Goodbye. You're a liar. People just witnessed your lie. And I'll tell them what the gas station is because you couldn't. So. No, I don't have insomnia. So goodbye, freedom. Goodbye. You don't care about Lake County. You're the problem in this county. You know, if you live here, and I don't think you live here because you couldn't answer the gas station. Could have already looked up by now. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out in your ass. I could have shot a man dead on this property yesterday. Do you care about anybody in your? And I didn't. I had legal authority to do so. And guess what? No weapon was drawn. I'm not violent out here. I'm speaking up, use my First Amendment, and you want to put me on drugs, freedom fighter. That's a problem with this country, brothers and sisters. You got people like this freedom fighter who doesn't believe in freedoms at all. He don't believe in freedoms. If he believed in freedom, he'd go, wait a minute, there's victims in your county. Wait, I live in that county. What are you talking about? No care whatsoever for the residents. So I'll probably die. I'm not going to be violent. I've never been violent. I could have shot a man dead yesterday on my property, brothers and sisters. This man showed up. He didn't have a warrant. I asked him. He said, I told him to leave. He didn't. And the minute he kept walking towards me, I've already had issues. I could have shot him dead. Dead, gone. No birthday next year. And I didn't. As a matter of fact, you can see the whole recording if you'd like. It was on yesterday. So I even called 911 and said, what is on this paper? Why is this person dropping things on my paper? What is on this paper? I don't ever call 911. I'll call non-emergency dispatch like I have probably 50, 60 times trying to get the elected sheriff to look at all the corruption going on here in North Lake County in the sheriff's office. I've called probably 50 times. I called I did probably 50, 100 hours of live streaming just in the last probably 5 days of nothing but calls to Lake County before the SWAT raid, before any of this, trying to tell them you got police officers that are doing corrupt things up here. Here's the evidence. You want to look at them. Here's some cases involving me. Please take care of this. Michael Taylor, and he's never called me. Michael Taylor's never called me. Never once. He's the elected sheriff. He's supposed to be going on and doing what's going on in this town, and he never called. Not even once. I probably called Michael Taylor's office 50 to 100 times requesting. I had people, I spoke with the undersheriff probably 5 times about this matter. And instead, they just come swat my house, brother, sister, shoot my son, kidnap my daughter. And then you got some idiot come in here, don't even care about his community. Like a lot of these community members right now who are just, they're going crazy on the local community page. You got to get this thing off here. This is an illegal post. This is about him. No, this is about everybody in this community that's been victimized by this police department and by this illegal goings on. Judges there's never been a judge in the United States go to jail, right? Judges have never done anything corrupt. Never been a police officer removed from his job in the line of duty for being corrupt, right? No police officers don't mark corrupt. Never in a district attorney in the history of the United States has there ever been a district attorney removed from being the district attorney and criminally charged with. No, there's never been no judges, no cops, no district attorney. We've just never, every cop has just been a perfect angel, right? That's a problem with bootlickers, brothers, sisters. They just can't see the flaws. They're victimized. They're afraid of them. They will not speak up. They will not assert their voice, their rights. They'll cower down, go, oh yeah, here my license, and here. You won't even assert your rights. You've been victimized. That's called Stockholm Syndrome. You're siding with your captor. Your captive captivated you under a capital letter name. And that's why I'm being targeted as well, because I point out that I'm not a straw man. And again, when is arrested, as you can see, my name is not all in capital letters because I'm not part of this corporation. I'm not part of the corporation called America. This was a constitutional republic, not a democracy. And I am not part of this democracy. It's a mockery. of your constitutional rights. So you're not going to sell my labor on the stock exchange. I'd rather, just stand by and let them shoot me if that's what they're going to do. They'll martyr me because I haven't shown any violence, not even one time. Yesterday, I could have shot a man, proof, brothers, sisters, dead. Yesterday, I could have taken the life of a man constitutionally, and I did nothing of the sort, showing how much reservation. You think I need that guy? Think I need a psychological evaluation? That man is alive yesterday because of God, not me. Because God makes me reserved. I had every constitutional right to shoot a man dead yesterday, brothers, sisters. Dead. And I did nothing of the sort, showing how calm and reserved I am. Although I might raise my voice, that doesn't make me need a psychological evaluation just because I speak up for the rights of this community and this country. I shouldn't be victimized. And I sure in hell should have my son victimized because of my actions of my mouth. And that's exactly what's going on with Elijah John Werner. He is being targeted. I have every bit of evidence to prove. I have phone calls to my attorney to help clear him to go into Lane County. I call my attorney to facilitate, to make it smooth. I called Lake County Sheriff's probation office at 5 months, and we'll have cellular data will show that I called Lake County Sheriff's. I called Lake County Sheriff's at 5 months. 5 months. And said, hey, I'm calling. I know you can't buy the guise of the attorney and my son's attorney that said to call and get a copy. He needs copy. He wants as much documentation of Elijah's hours. He has completed. Yes, he's completed all his hours. No, we need to get a copy of it. Oh, okay, I'll put you on hold. What is Sheriff Taylor? What is Sheriff Michael Taylor going to do? What is Judge Vandenberg going to do? What is the district attorney who prosecuted my son for this same exact charge going to do when I can produce evidence? If it will just get looked at one time. Let's go, for example, Elijah did his 180 hours with 5 people, not just himself. Dawn, I want Dawn summons to court. Did you do any with Elijah? I want Tom. He went there with Elijah to the dunes, to the fairgrounds, to the fire station. On some of those, he went multiple days in a row. Elijah left after being in jail, one of 5 guys to go to jail. Only one guy to go to jail out of 5. And one of them was a rapist and never, ever has been convicted of this theft. These guys all have records. He is a rapist and hasn't been charged because the issue in this county is, brothers, sisters, is that they get paid for this rapist, Tony Karsten. He served 13 years in a Texas penitentiary, 25-year sentence for rape, high on methamphetamines, and robbed a Hispanic woman. And then this lying to the community members out here about that's how I caught on to his disgusting ass, is that he's not notifying the parole department, Lily Frank, that he's moving. So he can be moving around the community, raping people, and people wouldn't even know. So I brought this to the attention to the police department, the probation department, the parole department, and said, why is my son in jail? I was there at the time of his arrest, and this rapist is running around in this community. He's not reporting his moving. And when asked about his crime of rape, he lies and says it's his fiance, and there was just a big misunderstanding. He was a menace to this community for years, and nobody did anything. And because I'm pointing it out, I'm now being targeted, and my son is being targeted because of this. Because I'm not happy with, I don't want special treatment. If my son did the crime, he needs to do the time. That's what I taught him, and he did. Only just one guy out of 5 went to jail. Only one still to this day to serve any time. Does that sound right to you? This is a minor children. My son's name Elijah. There's another Elijah. He was 17. He was a child. Minor child has a conviction, theft. My son has a theft conviction. Tony, I think it was his name. They all have convictions, but the rapist has never been convicted of the crime. Under the discovery of evidence, I got my son's, under the discovery, I received all the evidence. That's when I knew, okay, I got this now. I got this. I got the right of discovery. I see Tony Karsten, the rapist. He says he's here at a building, and they're breaking into the top through the skylight. They're trying to get in he's part of this. He's an accomplice. Right there, I brought under the right of discovery. I said, hey, I have the evidence. Here he is breaking into the building. He's there. Revoke his parole right now. Send him straight back, convict him and send him back to Texas. I don't want him in this community. He's lying about who he raped. He's lying about he's moving around without notifying the probation. And it's because the parole office gets paid to have this rapists in their community. There's more rapists, murders, and pedophiles released into Lake County, Oregon than there is in all of the state. And this is not an isolated state. Brothers and sisters, there are many states across the United States where the poorest county, I encourage you to look up right now, your county, or look up in your state and find out if there are per capita more rapists, murders, and pedophiles in your state. This is not an isolated state. This is happening across the United States, and they get paid on a contract for somebody like this rapist, Tony Karsten. That's why they wouldn't convict him, because they'd lose their money. If my son would just take a deal, it would have been swept under the rug. Tony Karsten would have never been convicted of rape, and they would have rinsed and recycled. He'd do it to another batch of them. I'm sure he does this. He's the mastermind behind this criminal ring out here under Lily Frank. How would I know the parole officer that he's not contacting about his movement? And then I'm telling him, Lily, he's lying. I went personally down. I have calls to Lily Frank, his parole officer, because this was also my son's probation officer. I'm pretty sure this is how these two met, somewhere within that building. So once I found out my son was hanging out with them, I was pissed. I can get neighbors and a disturbance, and never had the cops called, but where my son was living, I had the neighbors come over like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, my son is in here with my daughter, and he has this rapist. He's got some other kids, but they're younger kids. He helped them. They were living in a little tiny can ham trailer with a little lunchbox stove in the middle of the winter. This was in December at the beginning of the COVID, or the start of it. And my son's like, hey, I got an extra bedroom. You guys are in this little, I've got an extra bedroom. And I believe that's how he met these other two young gentlemen. They seemed like decent young kids. But now this rapist, when I found out about that, I went over there and said, you get this motherfucker out away from my daughter. He could do anything. I don't trust him. I'm fine. He's lying about his charges. I got other people. I'm doing my own investigation, son. He is telling other people that was his girlfriend. He's lying. Get this fucking dude out of my daughter's house. I don't give a fuck, son. You get him out of here. I don't give a shit. You're putting my daughter at risk. I know you just met him, but listen, he's a rapist. And then I was screaming and yelling. I brought him outside because I didn't want to do it in front of his wife. And he had just recently, guys, I'm like, well, I took him outside and I just ripped his ass. What the fuck are you doing? That's my daughter. But Dad, I said, look, so I know you're trying to be precious, but get him the fuck out of here. Do not let this man. He's a rapist. Do not have him around my daughter. You could leave. He could come back and victimize her. Get away from this guy. He was buying them cigarettes, brothers and sisters. These were all children, minor children. Tony Karsten was contributing to the delinquent of a minor under this thing and buying them cigarettes so they can sit around and smoke them like hippies, like a joint. That's why I ended up giving the state and said, okay, you want to convict my son? Great. I want him to go to jail. If he did it, I want him to do his time. I don't want him to get away with nothing. I want equal justice is what I'm asking for. Why is this rapist running around? Now he's buying him cigarettes. People, stop giving him evidence. Tracy, I'm like, yeah, I want my son to go to jail. If he's already in there, he needs to do his time. I taught him, if you do the crime, do the time. Don't run from your problems. Face your problems head on. That's what he did. He went to jail. He's okay. Elijah, I visited. Did you do this, Elijah? Just tell me. Dad, I didn't do it. You're not going to find my fingerprints on it. I don't, I'm like, okay, whatever, Elijah. Dad, they moved all that stuff out into that shed. They were just, I didn't know. I'm like, whatever. The evidence will speak for itself, Elijah. I do believe you, but I can't be biased here. I've got to make sure that, that they don't just convict you. You're sitting here in jail and I'm going like, what the hell? I need to know, Dad, if they find it, it's not going to my fingerprint. Okay, enough, Elijah, enough. Okay, what I'm going for here is equal justice. Equal. I want the equal justice. So if my son did the crime, I'm like, well, here, he's buying them cigarettes and they're all smoking them like a hippie, passing it around. If my son was there, you say he was at the scene of these crimes, you'll find a cigarette butt. I'm sure they were smoking out there. They probably didn't even think about what they're doing and drop the cigarette butt. You'll find one out there. I'm pretty sure. They're all together. I mean, I don't know exactly where these locations are at, but I'm sure they were smoking because he's the one Actually, I've been over to a friend's house and got him there and said, what the hell are you doing, man? Your wife doesn't want you smoking, remember? She said she don't support that. Yeah, she don't want to pay for you when you're old. You got a stone in the side of your. So I got her back. Stop doing this. Quit hanging around this dude. He's not good news. Oh, Dad, it's just a cigarette. So I told Lake County Sheriff's Office, there'll be a cigarette out at one of these supposed locations that he's at. And they found a cigarette. And guess what? It never did contain my son's DNA. No, it didn't. So they never did produce DNA evidence or an eyewitness evidence on my son. But let's just say he did it. He took a plea bargain. So let's say he did it. Convicted of theft. He's the only one to do any time. Why has the rapist never been convicted? Why does Tony Carson not have a conviction of theft? I have discovery evidence that he was at the scene of the crime. They're breaking into the building. Put him in parole. They won't do anything about this. Instead, I've been swatted, shot at. My vision's ruined. I have a big scar probably on my retina. I think that's what I'm seeing is something with I've talked to somebody. And again, you can see that this whole eye is sinking into my head. This one, you're not going to see a shadow on this. This whole eye is starting to recess inside of my head. My vision's changing. Last night, it was all puffy and physical damage. I've never shot at anybody. I could have shot this investigator yesterday, guys, that came here who would not identify himself, kept walking towards me. I'm like, turn around and go to, and he wouldn't. He just kept coming towards me. So if I had a sidearm, I could have pulled out right there and said, stop. And if he moved any further, I could have went, bam, because I always shoot twice and I don't miss. One in the head, one between the eyes. And he would have been there. And then I would have to call Lake County Sheriff's and say, look, I don't know where this is. He wouldn't identify it. I have it all on video. I told him to go to the other property. If he had a warrant, he didn't leave. He kept coming towards me. I didn't know he had something in his, I don't know if he was reaching towards his waistband, what he was doing. And I shot him dead because I feared that he was going to reach for a gun. He was not identifying himself. He had a very aggressive stance, just walking up to me. I apologize, but you need to come get this man off this property. I don't want to deal with another dead body. I'm a veteran. I don't want to deal with this shit. Come get this guy. I don't know who he is. He wouldn't identify himself, and he kept and I have it all on video, that he kept moving towards me. I told him to identify himself and to leave my property if he did not have a warrant. He didn't care. He just kept walking towards me. A man's life was spared because I'm a man of God. I could have shot a man dead yesterday, and yet I'm going to be the one that's ending up shot. You mark my words. I'll die before any of these police officers die out here. I haven't shot at anybody. I haven't called. I haven't been armed. My sidearm is inside my house. That's where I keep it to protect my property here. And if I had it on me, I could have shot him dead legally, brothers and sisters. They're putting community service and even their own people at jeopardy, trying to push and convict my son. I asked this guy, what about my son's 180 hours? If you're the investigator, because he finally dropped, and I was like, cool. I'm your son's investigative work for Dan Spencer. Bullshit. I got paperwork says that Dan quit as his attorney back in June. What do you mean? So I didn't know who this guy was. He could be somebody from the state of Oregon. He could be anybody, brothers and sisters. I didn't shoot him. I could have shot a man dead yesterday, brothers and sisters, and I didn't. So these people thinking that I'm violent is the farthest thing. They'll never convict me. But I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about them shooting me dead so that I can't represent my son in the community. And I don't care about death. I'm not afraid to die. I've lived a good life. I don't have a death wish. Everything I actually try to do is try to, try not to die. If you know who I am, you know how much preparedness I am. I'm not trying to die. I'm trying to live not life extension, as long as I can. He said you must endure to the end to be saved. So I have to keep trying no matter how hard it gets. So as a teacher and a pastor, I spoke with this trial attorney today or whatever, Abigail, and I said, Dan Spencer represented me, my son, and my daughter, that is illegal. You can't do that. And she hung up on me because I think she knew I never, ever, she's had my back the whole time, ever mentioned Adriana, my daughter. But when I did today, when I said, oh, he represented Adriana, click, she hung up on me. So why did she have back for all these last months? But when I mentioned Adriana being represented by Dan, I just got hung up on. There's something seriously wrong. It's called co-counsel. You can't counsel. You can't provide legal counsel for multiple defendants. Dual counsel. You can't dual defend. You can't counsel. There has to be a separate attorney for each person involved in the case. They only have two. Second largest county. Lane is the largest. Lake is the second. Second largest county in Lake County. And there's only two pretenders, public defenders. So they swap my house. They don't even look at Elijah's 180 hours. So I'm screaming for hundreds of hours. And I actually say it on the live stream. What about Elijah's 180 hours? My son even says it. My son even says it on the, okay, I'm coming out. His hands are up, you know. Why are you here? Why are you taking me? What about my 180 hours? And they shot him. So they'll do what they want. And if you think I won't die because of this, you don't know anything about this case. You don't know anything about how people end up become victims for speaking up about police corruption. So I've already called the bar about Dan representing me, my son, and my daughter who was kidnapped. I need you to do something about it right now. Don't just sit in. There's 29 of you in here. You can unsubscribe to the channel. If you've been a subscriber and you don't want to help, that's fine. I'll refire this up. Maybe I'll get your subscription later when I'm done with this. Be a good time to get away from this. You'll probably become part of this criminal investigation, probably at a federal level. And I do hopefully the Supreme Court will pick this up and appellate court will eventually. The only way that anything that I probably don't die out here, brothers, sisters, if somebody from another state will help me. So don't just sit in here if you don't want to help, please, because you will become part of this investigation. In this right of discovery, it does say, yeah, get out of here. You are becoming evidence by being here. In the right of discovery, it says you. That's you too. That's you. And they've got your IP address. Are you afraid? Be afraid. Be very afraid. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not fearing nothing. He said, fear no man that can take your life. Only fear who can take your flesh and your soul. No, don't fear who can take your flesh. Only fear who can take your flesh and your soul. So would you like to do something about it? Let's get a little participation. We'll spark the algorithm. Do you like to help victims, or do you like to see victims suffer? Put it in the chat. I like to see victims suffer, or I like to help people who are being victimized. Put it in the chat, or please leave. Please get out of this chat. You are in evidentiary. You're in an evidentiary stream where the federal government and the Department of Justice is aware of the goings on. It's only going to be a matter of time, brothers, sisters, before this will get picked up. If it costs my life, so what? I am a veteran. That's what we do. We would fight with our mouth to the death. If so, that's what I said. That's their right of discovery against me. You're a part of that. So would you like to put a comment in the chat, or are you in here jerking off, jerking your chain? There's a place called Pornhub for that. You can do that. You can stick your hand between your legs and go play with yourself somewhere else. Please don't do it in here. If you would like to help, since you guys don't make any comments and you're the silent majority, it says in history, there were people who literally watched to their death, walk right to their death during World War II. That would be you right now. Not one of you even made a comment. This is the problem with this country, why the tyranny continues so long. These people just don't say anything about it. They don't ever, oh, we're getting some here. Okay. No opinion on Jackson myself. Okay. Oh, we got something. Okay, guys, my apologies. You guys are commenting. They do this to this thing. So, but I truly want you guys to understand this is happening in here. Let me go back through here. What do we got here? Let's read some of these comments. I gotta come back. Okay. He's insomnia. Okay. Grace doesn't know anything from ass from a hole in the ground. Grace is just some idiot. Doesn't even pay attention to what's going on. Has no idea. I'm so confused. BH, take a chill pill. Life is too short. BH is trying to get people to take drugs. Okay, so we've got to have another drug pusher in here, just like our government, just like all these people. Oh man, you need to get some help and get on some Adderall or something. So be careful of BH. BH is a drug pusher. Probably need to report them for illicit drug usage. Sir, you seem like a solid American. When you have to choose, I'd love to hear if you have any thoughts on Andrew Jackson. No, I'm not talking about Andrew Jackson. I do believe, but your approach comes as an incoherent, aggressive. You might want to reconsider how you represent this topic. Okay, well, I don't care how you present the topic. BH, get out of here. You're an idiot. I'm dying for your opinion. You're exactly the type of man I'd love to hear from in America with a strong heart and unbiased. No, I'm not talking. Andrew Jackson was the Mason. All these presidents are part of this corporation. So I'm not part of the corporation. Although he was one of the original, yeah, I don't want to talk about that right now. I've got bigger fish to fry. So is Tony an informant? Who is Tony? Tony Karsten is a rapist. Baba, was that Baba? We'll call you AWO. What is that about? Does anyone in the chat have an opinion on Andrew Jackson? No, we're not talking about Andrew Jackson. Goodbye. All right. You need to be careful because you are exposing him. When would you get a chance to try to sponge your son's records? No, I can't do that. No opinion on Jackson myself. Okay, no opinion. What happened? Stay strong. Thank you. Can you move out of state? No, I can't leave the state right now. They literally have me pinned down to the state. The state of Oregon came and swatted my house. I can't even leave the state, and they can do it at any time. That means anywhere I go in the state of Oregon, this can happen to me. What was people doing wrong? Okay. Nobody did anything wrong. My son did his 180 hours. Yes, he was convicted of theft. And so where there's 5 guys were all part of this, breaking into abandoned, empty buildings. In one case, there was a home way out of town that these 41-year-old rapists told them that this house was abandoned because he was a pedophile and he had been arrested and had been taken years ago. He was never coming back. So they thought they were being vigilantes. Teenagers, 17-year-old, 19, said they were kids. The criminal mastermind was helping them. First, it started with collecting rocks. Then it was arrowheads. And then it was going on to empty lots, vacant lots. Oh, there's an empty building. It's going to blow down. The desert's going to get it. They haven't been here for years. Look, it's abandoned. Let's go inside. Empty buildings. So, let's see. Lake County Sheriff's Department. Enough is enough. No, enough is not enough. Until you come out here, Lake County Sheriffs, and you drop all of these charges against my son. Are you hearing me, Lake County Sheriff? I'm not afraid of you. You better stand down. You better stand down right now, Lake County. You are all going, I'm going to sue every one of your bonds that's in this case. Do you understand? I am not afraid of you, Lake County Sheriff's Office. Criminal Tom Rourke, you will go to jail. Who is it? Identify yourself right now, Lake County Sheriffs. Identify which deputy you are. Is that you, Michael Taylor? You've never once called me, you chicken shit motherfucker. You've never once called me. How many times have I called Lake County Sheriff's Office to speak to Michael Taylor about the corruption within Lake County Sheriff's Office? How many phone calls have I made? How many phone calls have I made, Lake County Sheriffs? Identify which officer you are right now. Let's see who this is. You're a danger to yourself and others, and this has gotten out of hand. Oh, I'm a danger to myself. No, I'm not. What about that fucking person who came on my house, on my property, and I called the fucking police department? You never followed up. Who the fuck was that? And what the fuck did he leave on my property? Identify yourself as a police officer. You're in this chat. You need to identify your name and your badge number, Lake County. Identify your badge number now. Identify who you are and your badge number. Identify yourself. You are a law enforcement officer. Identify who you are. If you are with Lake County Sheriffs, identify which officer and your badge number immediately. That's part of your policy. I know. A man could have been dead yesterday, you piece of shit fucking Lake County peace officer. You're not a peace officer. You fucking issued a warrant to my fucking property. Yeah, Ted Martin, your district criminal attorney. Identify yourself, Lake County Sheriff, now. Identify yourself. Identify yourself, Lake County Deputy, now. If I had anything to fear, tell me about Elijah's 180 hours, Lake County Sheriff's Office. Tell me about Elijah Werner's Lake County Sheriff's Office. Tell me about Elijah Werner's going to
from the annex out to the dunes. How many times did Elijah go to the dunes with Tom, Morgan, and Don? Who are those people, Lake County sheriffs? Who are the two females that went with him? Wasn't the terms of his release to leave from Lake County into Lane County that all his community service, road crew was completed? Yes, you're a fucking failure, you piece of shit. You won't even identify yourself. You're a cop. You're a bootlicker. You're licking your own boot. You're a cop sucker. I can't stand pigs like you who won't even identify themselves like that person. You have to identify yourself. That's your policy. You guys think you could just do whatever? There are victims out here because of people just like you that don't follow the law. So you have to identify yourself, Lake County Sheriff's Office. If you're coming in my chat room, you have to identify. If you're Lake County Sheriff, so which officer and which badge number are you? Are you Michael Taylor? Michael Taylor, that piece of shit deputy, he's an elected sheriff. I have requested how many calls from him? Let's go ahead and do some more evidence against you, Lake County Sheriff's Office. You got to play with me, huh? Go ahead. You better have a warrant when you come back on this property, too. You did last time, but guess what? You accosted my daughter illegally. Yes, you did. You accosted Adriana Massey illegally. So that's fine. I don't care, guys. I'm not tripping. This is how I treat these criminals. Let's see if it's this criminal right here. This is the criminal Michael Taylor, who has never once called my phone. This is the head of all these clowns wearing these clown suits. Is this elected sheriff right here, who's never once called me ever? I've tried to make them oh, you're sending threats now, Lake County Sheriff's Office? You're threatening me now, Lake County Sheriff's? Is that a threat? You either identify yourself, who you are, and which officer you have been. Okay, the SWAT team's been notified. Okay, so which officer are you? Do you have any balls? Are you a female officer? Show yourself. Name who you are, Lake County Sheriff. Name who you are. You have to do that. You're in a public forum. You have to identify who you are. Your warning, don't kiss my ass. Kiss my ass, Lake County. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you. There's victims in this county you don't want to listen to. State your name, which officer you are, and your badge number immediately. I'm not playing with you. This is your last warning. Your last warning. Your bond will be sued. Your address. YouTube is in part of the right of discovery. Yeah. So you're part of this case now. So identify which police officer of Lake County you are and your badge number, or you are breaking not only your policy, but you have to identify yourself. If you are a public servant and a law enforcement officer, you're bonded. I'm going to sue your bond. I'm going to figure out who you are because you wouldn't identify yourself. You have to do that. That's your final warning. Before you put anything in this chat room, you better identify to this public forum who you are. You have no right to expectation of privacy when you're in public. You came in a public forum. You're coming in here serving the community, telling me you identify which officer you are and your badge number, or I will call Lake County Sheriff's Office and tell them that they have an officer on my chat acting as a police officer, and you will get busted. Yes, you will. You cannot act as a police officer. Oh, now you're going to tell me to turn myself in. For what, you fucking idiot? You either identify yourself right now. I will call Lake County Sheriff's Office immediately and tell them they have somebody acting as a police officer. Actually, I'm going to screen capture all this. Hold on real quick. I got to screen capture this, guys. Yeah, I'm not afraid of you, Lake County Sheriffs. You guys are pieces of shit. Is that you, Sam Birch? Is that you, Sam Birch? Is that you, Lance Brown? Just identify yourself. So everybody's witnessing you. I now have people witnessing you are not identifying yourself. You're a law enforcement officer. You have to do that. If you come in here and start making threats against me, warnings, you have to tell this. You are not identifying yourself. It's false official. Oh, what are you? You're acting as a police officer. That is a felony. They'll get your address. This is something, brothers and sisters, I recommend that you don't do. You could be a troll and act as but don't come in and act as you're some other police officer without identifying yourself of who you are. I've asked this police officer if he's a Lane County police officer for his name how many times and to identify who his badge number is. That's right. That is a criminal offense and a federal offense to impersonate a police officer. So Lake County, this is your last warning. You identify yourself immediately. Who you are, what your badge number is, or I will report you immediately to the Lake County Sheriff's Office that there is somebody impersonating a Lake County Sheriff in my chat room, and I've got you screen captured now too. So identify which police officer, which sheriff's office you are with. You say Lake County, so identify your badge number. Okay. I will be reporting. Everybody, please call Lake County Sheriff's Office and tell them that Tracy Werner is on the live stream and there's somebody in there impersonating a police officer, will not identify themselves, give their badge number, identify which police officer they are. Please contact, and if it's just a troll, that's fine. But if it is truly somebody who is impersonating a police officer without identifying who they are, no, you didn't try calling me several times yesterday and today. There's no calls to my phone. So that's incorrect. You did not call me. I have my call log. Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, we're going to make you look like an idiot and prove that you're a liar. So after this, brothers and sisters, I want you to call this in because I'll screen capture it. I'm going to go right to, I'm going to hold on. I'm going to show you my call log. Watch. This gentleman is a liar and impersonating a police officer. He has not identified himself. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to show you my phone record of all my calls. There's no calls yesterday or today. So watch. We're going to prove that not only is he impersonating a police officer, has not identified himself as a police officer who he is. If he was, he'd have to legally do that. That's part of department policy. It's just part of what we have to do, brothers and sisters, is to audit these public officials. Casey, I'm trying, okay? Under my Miranda rights, they have to give me legal counsel under my Fifth Amendment. I know my rights. You have the right to remain silent. That's what this fucking stupid cop sucker should do right now, is shut up before he gets himself in more trouble. He didn't identify himself. He's probably just some troll who's going to get in trouble for impersonating a police officer. Then he's saying he's calling me, which is more lies. So I have proof that he's lying to show you that this is not. So I'm going to pause. And I'm going to take a picture of my phone record to show you this is a liar. Nobody called. I called 911 yesterday too, brothers and sisters. Be aware, okay? So this gentleman is definitely going to probably be serving some time. So anyways, you can't impersonate a police officer, brothers. Don't do that. It's one thing to come in and troll and be somebody you're not, but do not impersonate a police officer. A police officer, that is a felony. So let me take a pause here. I'm going to go to my phone log and show you that this is officer, a fake officer we need to obviously call Lake County Sheriff's Office right now and tell them there's a police officer acting as a police officer who will not identify himself in the chat, that I have asked him. I have asked him. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to show you. I've already been harassed, guys. So it's just so you know, and they'll be out here probably for the end of the day. Come out here and try to do something stupid. They already have. I mean, that's fine. I don't. But let me show you that he's lying. This guy said he called me today. Look, these are the only calls that I've had today, guys. This is today. This is today. So you can see the date there. The only person that I've called, because I've called, this person said they called me today. I need you to report Lake County Sheriff's. This person to Lake County Sheriff's. Please call Lake County Sheriff right now and tell them there's somebody acting as a police officer. He said he called me today. No, he didn't. Said he called me yesterday. I really don't like showing these people's numbers, but I'm not concerned, guys. That's my number here. There's my phone number. That's not a police officer's number. That would be private number too. It would say private if the police called. They always call. They call from a private number. And I called yesterday. Here's yesterday. Nothing from the police officers. Nothing. No cops calling me yesterday. So that guy's lying. And here's the rest of the calls from yesterday. Here's a complete list. No private numbers. Nobody called me. No voicemail, no nothing. So this is a lie, guys. This is how much I'm being harassed. That could be somebody. That's fine, and that's fine. You just, guys, please don't do that. You know, a lot of people come in and troll and say they're somebody they're not. That's fine. I mean, people live a lot of alternative lives on this platform, but don't impersonate a police officer, guys. That is a felony. A felony. So that person needs reported. Please call Lake County Sheriff's Office and let them know. I need to stay on the live, and so I can film my death, possibly. So you guys can be a witness to me being dead. If they come in here and I think they're going to come in here and just start shooting. I don't think they're going to come in and be nice. I think they're going to come in shooting. They shot me at 45 seconds last time. They shot my son too. And they illegally arrested my daughter without warrant. And that's illegal. That's an illegal detainment under your Miranda rights. You have the right to be Mirandized, and they have to provide you warrant, probable cause, and show that. And they didn't have any of it. So my daughter was kidnapped. I'm very concerned about people doing what they're doing to me right now, brothers and sisters. Yesterday, I had a gentleman come on my property. And he wouldn't identify himself. And I told him to leave, brothers and sisters, to leave. I'm mentally incompetent. I could have shot a man dead yesterday, brothers and sisters. I think his name is John. The person who delivered this, go watch the live stream. I said, do you have a warrant? He said, no. I said, leave my property now. And he kept walking towards me. That will get you shot. Dead. That's illegal. And he still kept coming. You can see it on the video. So to sit there and say that I need some kind of psychological mental evaluation, I have enough calmness of me not to kill a man when I legally could have. I could have taken that man's life yesterday 100%. I would never face charges because he kept walking towards me. He had something in his hands, which this was this, and I couldn't tell. It happened very fast. I could have shot him, brothers and sisters. I am not mentally incompetent. I have my wits about me. I could have shot a man dead yesterday. And he's alive, breathing. And I did to cover I called the 911 and said, who was this person? Wouldn't identify themselves. He's saying he's with my son's attorney's office, but I have records showing that my son's attorney quit. This is what this paperwork is. If you want to screen grab it, this is him quitting. This is Dan Spencer calling and saying he will not represent. He's dropping off as my son's attorney. Back in June 18th, comes that Dan Spencer appointed court for the referred defendant. Here moves the court, allowing me to withdraw as the attorney of record in the man, I'm having my eyes hard, guys. It's hard to something referenced matter. So here is Dan Spencer, who co-counseled me. That's illegal. That'll get this case dropped immediately, brothers and sisters. You can't co-counsel on the same case. You have to have a different attorney for each for each defendant. You can't have co-counsel. My son's attorney represented me. That's illegal. That will get this case dropped. And he represented my daughter, who was taken without warrant. She's not on here, guys. Help me, please. What's going on with her? She's going to get victimized already. She's already victimized. Yes, my son committed theft. Yes, he did his time. He did a whole year in jail. Nobody else went to jail but my son. Why? Why was the rapist Tony Karsten never convicted of theft? He was convicted of rape, robbery. He was high on methamphetamines, brothers and sisters. You know, I reported to my local little community there's corruption, and people are accusing me of being, victim, smoke meth or biscuit, not meth. People are referring to drugs. I do this, and people tell me that I need help because I'm standing up for your right. If your daughter got illegally detained without warrant, would you stand up for her? That's my son's wife. They've been together for many years. They read the Word of God together, guys. He's got this exact copy of this book. They're a good couple. They have lived without any disturbance. My son has gone 4 years. He's never gotten in no trouble. And not no trouble in 4 years. He did, but he did his time. He's the only one of 5 guys to go to jail, and Tony Carson, the rapist, has never served any time in jail. That is unbelievable. He's not had a conviction. These 3 kids, the 4th one they never got, but I know who it is, and I'm not going to dime the guy out. But he was a minor. He was a minor at the time, little baby shoe. There's only one small little man in this town. Gee, I wonder why the shoe was so small. I'm like, they were trying to convict my son's daughter, or my son's wife. He's had, like, in 10 years, he's dated 2 women, Adriana and Adriana. Yeah, if I say Adriana on accident, I get in trouble. Oops, I'm sorry. You dated her, but they were high school sweethearts. They're the same spelling. Come on, guys. She's a good lady. I wouldn't want to be called the ex's name or anything, but listen, brothers and sisters, they accosted her body without warrant. That is illegal. Their whole case is illegal. There's nothing in this case that's not criminal. You can't have me, brothers and sisters, they kept me in jail for a week. Extra. My son's attorney, who was his attorney at the time before he withdrew, represented me and pleaded to the courts. He realized he reprimanded. He, like, the 3rd time he was, I'm representing the Constitution, because he knew he had fucked up. Apologize my French, but he did. You can't co-counsel defendants in the same case. Something down there. What's out there? All right, guys. If I end up going, I'll film this, okay? If they end up showing up, I'll film it. But look, this is my son's attorney, was still current as attorney. The attorney, I got all this paper just to destroy this thing. Like during the secret indictment here, my son's attorney represented me for this. He represented me for this right here, for these charges. And then you go back in and you get again. And then when he represented me on this, he realized how bad he had fucked up. And I apologize for my French, but he said, oh crap, I can't do that. So he went through and made this big long list. He must have studied all night, guys, because he had quite the list. And he said, well, I'm not representing Tracy this time. I'm representing the Constitution of the United States of America. He realized he shouldn't have done that. And normally you get away with that in most of these counties, you know, or in this county with most people. But I am not going to stand for this. That's why I believe Abigail, the trial attorney, hung up on me today, because I called her and I said, now look, he represented Adriana too. And that's 3 people. And I've already called the bar. Click. So something's up with that. So once he represented me, twice he represented me, 3 times he represented me in court, which is illegal. That alone will get this case thrown out. The 3rd time he represented me, he was pleading to the judge to let me out because I'd already been in there over a week. And he said, you can't keep him more than a week. Under the 9th Appellate Circuit reign, there was some kind of something that was held up, but you would risk the whole case being thrown out if you didn't let me go immediately, because I don't have criminal record. I am an honorably discharged veteran who has paid taxes. I own land in this town, and I'm not a flight risk. He pleaded to the judge. He pleaded the district attorney to let me out, and they still kept me in there 7. He even said Klamath County, the next county over, just to try to give some right. He did a lot of work. Dan Spencer is letting everybody out in a week. All the other, when I called my attorney, he's like, or my son's attorney, John Cleo, he said, Tracy, there's a big problem in the county right now. There's not enough. There's more crime being committed than there are prosecuting and attorneys and public defenders. So they're having to try. I said, I know, I've been exposing this, John. I have a phone call too, by the way, to my attorney and him saying this. So, brothers and sisters, this whole case is this got to get out of this county. It's got to get out of the state. I need you to help me. Oregon, is not the only state where they release more pedophiles, rapists, and murders into the county's poorest or state's poorest county. Are you in America? Will you do me a favor? Will you look up on your statistics? Do you find that there's more rapists, murderers, and pedophiles? And then if you found out that a rapist was lying about his charges, telling everybody that he didn't rape that victim, that it was his fiance, and that he was moving. If you're a pedophile, guys, or a rapist, and you move, you have to notify parole. He was moving without letting anybody know. Yeah, that's illegal. So I pointed out, hey, what the hell is going on here? Why is this guy allowed to move around the county without notifying you guys? And then he's lying about his charges. And my son's sitting in jail right now for the same exact crime, and he's not in jail. For a whole year nearly, I screamed that, guys, and they don't like me for that. If my son would have just taken a deal, this would never even be happening right now. So please call somebody in your state to let them know this is going on. The only way I'm going to live is if somebody helps me. And it'll be by God will make you do it. Yes, he will. But I will not live probably another week or two. They already came out here with 29 state troopers, guys. I don't know how many heavily armored vehicles they had. I know I spoke with somebody in town because they met up in town, these businesses that I stood with. Yeah. And they said they were going to shoot me. They bragged to the businesses they were going to come out here and it was going to be some standoff and they were going to shoot me dead. So they're going to get me next time. I'm pretty certain of it. I don't think they'll wait. 45 seconds. They went hot, guys. 45 seconds. This county went straight hot. I don't know where it went. They tossed, at 45 seconds, I was King Flashbang Grenade, headshotted. Although it didn't come out of a weapon like this, probably out of a 203. This gentleman had to be close enough. I don't call him a gentleman. He's a piece of shit, pig, cop-sucking state trooper that I'd like to look him in the eye someday and ask him, is your right eye sinking into your skull? Look at the difference. Look at all this big, fat, swollen. All this is getting a shadow. It's starting to recess into my eye. I'm losing my eye, guys. I'm not going to go to the doctor. I'm not. I don't like doctors. I'm going to lose my eye. I already know it. It's getting worse every day. You can see it. Somebody's like, last night it was really bad. It's better today, but it's still what it is. I have a very, almost an exact image of this with, there's another line and there's all these dots and fuzz. It looks like sand or in my eye above this with the line. And there's this big line in my vision now. I have to look around that all the time and see that. And it's hard to read. When I look down at something, it's in my vision. So I'll probably lose my eye because of it. Do you think the guy who threw this at me do I think I'll ever look him in the eye? Do you think I'd ever get to look at this gentleman in the eye? And 45 seconds, all I did, go watch the live stream. It's a 16-minute and 43-second video. They get here. I go immediately to the door to ask if my son is okay. Elijah, are you okay? Elijah, are you okay? Bam, dude. That was it. That was 45 seconds into them being here. Probably a little over a minute because I immediately went live. I turned off the camera at 3, whatever, on that day or whatever, and went for a minute because I was tired. I think I laid down like 20 minutes later. I laid down. It was like 3. The times don't have to be exact, but it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and at 3:17 they showed up. I just fallen asleep. I mean, I had just fallen asleep. Oregon State Police, Tracy Werner, we have a warrant for your arrest. Exit the building.
Elijah Werner, we have a warrant for your arrest. Exit the building. Adrian Amasse, we have a warrant for. I'm live streaming. I'm in here. I'm live streaming to let them know. I think they went, oh shit, because they bragged that they were going to get me out up at the restaurant up here, brothers and sisters. The same restaurants I stood up during the COVID. These dumbass state troopers didn't have enough audacity to go out there and do any kind of investigation, realize that these restaurants that I had stood with reported back to me and let me know, hey, they all met up here and they were bragging. They were Josh Bezel, a criminal deputy up here, and you know, he had a louder mouth, and we're going to go to expose him now. He's not the only one who was saying it, and they all had phones on them, so cellular data will show that they planned on coming up here, shaking me, getting me off my live stream, and shaking me up and getting me to come out here, and would hoping I would come out with a gun so they could shoot me. That was their plan. That's the plan they had made, all met up. Lake County Sheriff's Office met. I knew they were coming because they had harassed me for weeks and weeks, and I begged and pleaded them to stop driving around the house, stop driving on my property. I could have shot 2 state troopers that day too, dead, and there wouldn't have been a damn thing they could do about it because I already told them, stop coming around, stop harassing me. You're wasting all this money. Just take the same amount of money. Take the same amount of money and go research my son's 180 hours, and you guys will figure out you're wasting your time. Don't bring men with guns. Research my son's 180 hours. That was the terms of his release from Lake County into Lane County. You'll find you're just wasting time. And now you're scaring the shit out of my daughter here. She's fucking freaking out for her life. And my son's freaking. He's going to get thrown in prison when dad has all the proof and he did it. Stop fucking harassing me. I'm afraid for my life. Then they drove on my fucking property, guys. Not on the easement road. I could have shot those 2 state troopers dead that day. Dead. 2 shots, 1 each. I shoot twice and I don't miss. If you don't think so, will you please go look at my DD-214, my DD-214? All expert marksman. All expert. Even single-handed put 50 shots on the paper, single-handed with a shotgun, combat loaded. I don't miss. I always shoot twice. Once in your heart, once in your head. I can't help it, brothers and sisters. I didn't do any of the sort. I got a phone. Not legally, but you could. Absolutely legally. Nice. That's 100% legal to shoot those people on my property. They were harassing me. Don't talk shit in here, nice. You talk against the law, I will point you out just like I point out the law that's perverting it. You're perverting it. Yes, legally. 4th Amendment, you have the right to be secure in your house, papers, persons in effect. Nobody can enter your property without a warrant. Warrantless search or seizure. You're a liar. Nice. Stop spreading lies. They were harassing me. I had already communicated with them on the live stream. You're scaring us. I have arms. My son doesn't. He's in a separate location. So don't be a liar. Don't spread lies. I had the right under my 4th Amendment to kill those 2 state troopers fucking dead, and they're going to question my mental ability. Go fuck yourself, nice. Fucking come in here and lie to people, tell them they can't protect themselves. Stop it. I don't like cussing, but stop. I'm a veteran. People have the right. Under this testament, I teach people you can't go outside your borders. If that person would have turned around, I couldn't have shot him, because he would have been leaving. I would have went to jail. But if that gentleman like yesterday kept fucking approaching me, you shut the fuck up, nice, and stop blaspheming actual 4th Amendment constitutional law. You're the problem with this country, misinforming people like these cop suckers on what the law is. I have the right under the 4th Amendment to deem him an intruder and apply the force necessary. You have not looked into the statute, so don't talk about something you don't know. Stop blaspheming my God-given rights. So don't be soft-skinned. Thanks for taking it in here. So, don't be soft-skinned. We're all Americans. We're supposed to be able to talk to each other. It's called fucking communication. It doesn't mean that we're fighting with each other. We're communicating. So don't lie. You have a right under your 4th Amendment to be secure in your house's papers, persons, and effects. You have the right to unabated warrantless search or seizure. They cannot enter your property. I don't give a shit who it is. Brothers and sisters, they have to identify themselves. Now, please don't just shoot people when they come on your property. That's not what I'm teaching you. They have to identify themselves. What if somebody didn't take their meds or something, wandered onto your property? You can't just shoot them, guys. That's not what I'm saying. Please listen to me.
They have to identify themselves. You need to let them know. Who are you? You need to leave. You can tell them to leave. They don't have to identify themselves, but they do have to leave. They have to leave. You do have to physically tell them. You can say it's posted, but when they leave, if they turn around and you shoot them, you're going to go to jail, brothers and sisters. But if you shoot that man or woman in the head and they are coming towards you, I don't give a fuck if they're armed or not. You have the right under the Fourth Amendment to deem them an intruder and apply the necessary force if you think they're going to cause your harm to your persons, papers, persons, right person, you or your effects, your animals. This is how it is your Fourth Amendment. So when those two state troopers drove on, not on the easement road, but onto my property, I could have got my gun out and went, ba-bam, ba-bam, and that would have been 4 holes in 2 dead officers, and there would have been a fucking thing the state of Oregon could have done. And I guarantee you they would have never fucking swatted my house, and they would have looked at my son's 180 hours that they still haven't looked at today. 2 dead police officers, and I'd have been 100% justified under my Fourth Amendment. So don't you dare anybody who watches this live stream say that I have something fucking wrong with my mental ability. My mental ability is 100% clear. I could have killed 3 fucking people, and I have not killed anybody. And you're questioning my ability to make a fucking decision? Go fuck yourself. Whoever's watching this, kiss my motherfucking ass if you think there's something wrong with me fucking mentally. That's my right. And you're going to tell me something's wrong with me because I'm asserting my fucking constitutional rights? You're the fucking problem with this country. You are the problem with this country. You allow this to continue. I'm a pastor and I apologize for cussing, but remember the book of Psalms says it only takes for evil to flourish, for good men and women to stand around and do nothing, brothers and sisters. I will die fighting to the death. That is their discovery of evidence against me. He will fight to the death. I could have shot 3 men and I never even pulled out a weapon. So don't you dare question my mental ability to make a rational, on-the-spot fucking decision. I made an on-spot decision now twice that saved 3 fucking men's lives. So don't you dare question me. Dumbass coming in here telling me he's fucking Lake County sheriffs and they got some kind of fucking mental thing going on for me. Go fuck you, Lake County. Kiss my ass. You're a tyrant group of thugs. And I'm a veteran that's, when I took my tour of service on my honorable discharge, which I don't even agree with that crap, but on my DD 214, it says ends tour of service. I don't end my tour of service at the time of my discharge. It says defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, brothers and sisters. There's domestic enemies on the homeland. It's called a lot of our local sheriff's offices. They get away with murder, some of them. There was a murdered police officer out here, guys. There's a lot of corruption going on in this little tiny town I live in. And when I called my attorney when my son got in trouble, he told me these exact words. Tracy, if your son was in any other county in the state, I would have them out today. They do whatever the fuck they want there in that county, Tracy. I practice criminal law in the whole state, and that county does whatever the fuck they want. That's he's a criminal attorney. He's the one who's telling me this, the one who represented my son. The one when I called said, all right, John, he's completed all his terms. He's released. He did all his community service. He's coming over there. Is anything I can do? Was there anything I can do? He said, Tracy, you already know your law for document. Okay, John, I thank you. Lake County parole and probation. Hello, my name is Tracy Werner. My son is Elijah Werner. Now, I know I can't get all this information, but as the guise of the attorney, told me to call you, his attorney who represented him, we need to get documentation of all his hours can be completed and get something in writing. Yes, all his hours completed, Tracy. Ma'am, I need to get something in writing, something off the computer. Well, hold on, I'll put you on hold. That's going to clear my son right there. Now watch. Yes, Tracy, we looked in the computer and he has no more hours. He's completed all his community service. That will convict. Ted Martin, the district attorney, who signed off for this special weapons and tactics warrant on my house. My son did all that. I called Lake County. I called my attorney. The terms of his release to leave the county is that he completed. Of course, they're going to get all the work out of him. They can't get the $47,000 for restitution for the buildings and all the damages or whatever was caused between 5 guys, but they can get his community service out of him, his work crew, his road crew, and that's exactly what they did. They actually overworked him. I'm pretty sure cellular data will show Elijah did more than 180 hours because he went with 5 witnesses to do these. It's not like he went out there to these dunes where we have the northern hemisphere's largest set of sand dunes, and they go out there with their quads and their side-by-sides and their beer, and they drink and they party and they leave shit behind. They mess the dunes up out here. And so the county uses these probationaries and parolees to go out and clean. It's a whole day out there. They painted the fairgrounds for 3 days. They locked up the fucking fire chief because of Josh Bezel. Because of Deputy Josh Bezel could not get a job with the fire department and ended up getting with the job with the police department because he couldn't beat it. And next thing you know, the fire chief gets fired. And I go serve time with the fire chief in jail. He's a good dude. Seriously. And I'm like, dude, can you? He's like, no way. And he's like, dude, your son is so funny. He came here the first day and he got paint on his pants because he thought he was going over to the fairgrounds to, or to do whatever he thought he was going, and he didn't have to wear something and everybody gave him a hard time because he got red paint on his pants. They were hazing. It was pretty funny. Your son, he didn't care, but it was pretty funny. He's like, oh man, I thought I was going to be going to, and he's like, son, and they just hazed him. This is a little country town. So they're like laughing at him. You got paint on your pants and you thought you were going to, and they hazed him. And so I talked to the fire chief about this, and he goes, yeah. And he came back the next day, and he wore the same pants for a few days. It took him a few days to get the fire station doesn't get painted in one day. There's multiple times my son went to multiple sets, 1, 2, and 3 days in a row. Even if my son worked 1 day a week, he left the county in 5 months. Even if he worked 1 day a week, that'd be 160 hours, just 1 day a week. You tell me he never worked a second day in 5 months? Bullshit. Sometimes he worked 3 times in a week. The fire station, for example. Yeah. Some 2 days, some 3 days, some, but not just 1 day. So my son completed, I believe, more than 180 hours. And if you get Tom, who did this with him, not Tom Rourke, the criminal, police officer out here, Don wrote, I think it was Don or Morgan, was an artist. This guy, my son was showing me some art that this guy was drawing. I was like, wow, because he knows my son likes art. Like I even talked to my son. He's like, Dad, Lily's freaking overworking me, Dad. I'm trying to get out of here. I think it was towards the end. And he's like, we're going to the fairgrounds again, Dad. And all we do, Dad, is just rake the same spot. We don't even really do anything. We're burning. Yeah, exactly. Do what you're told, Elijah. Do what you're told. They want to get you out of here. They're pissed that Dad is pointing out that the rapist ran around the whole year. You were the only one to go to jail. I'm not going to let this go ever, Elijah. I'll never let it go. You can move out of here. I'm not going to let it go. I am a community member. You're moving out. I got to stay here. I don't want rapists running around the community and parole officers aware of it, of a parole rapist not telling the parole officers where he's moving to when he legally, like a pedophile, he's doing this. I'm concerned. Remember? I ripped your ass about having him in the fucking house with my daughter. Right? The neighbors come out and what the fuck's going on here? Yeah, I'm ripping my son because he's got some fucking guy over here. And okay. And the old man went back in his house. He's passed, but I'm sure his wife witnessed it. I'm 100%. I had my phone on me. So cellular data will have and show when they summons that day of me going out there, me ripping his ass for why are you fucking letting this be, in this town? Why are you allowing this, man into my daughter's house? Fuck you. Your judgment's clouded, dude. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care if you're my son. That's my fucking daughter, dude. You've dated her since you were high school sweethearts. Go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit, son. Get that motherfucker out of here. I've on his ass. He's lying about his charges. Fuck him. I know you just met him. He's a liar and he's a fucking rapist. Get him out of. I'm concerned. Fuck you. You can have, and you're a man. He's a man, but he can fucking force his cock in my daughter. And he's lying about it. So get him the fuck away from him. And if I ever see you around him again, I'm going to rip your fucking ass, Elijah. I don't give a fuck. I'll leave you behind. I care more about Adriana than you right now. Fuck you, Elijah. We were fighting about it verbally, not physical, but going back and forth about this. And the neighbor came out as I'm screaming and yelling and ripping my fucking adult son's ass about him hanging around some fucking rapist. So don't tell me I wasn't involved in this shit. I was there the day he was fucking arrested. Cellular data will show that. Cellular data will show that a police officer brought Elijah to me. Fuck you, Lane County. I got your asses. You come kill me, you'll martyr me. You'll make the word of God. You'll make a teacher who has just a potty, filthy mouth. Recently, you can find me streaming for thousands of hours without making one single cuss word. But you're victimizing. You ran over this ministry out here and ruined this ministry. What was that? Damn, it's snowing again. It's snowing again. It's snowing. The weather outside is snowing. Nice, guys. Nice. I got private messages. Fuck yeah. I got private messages, guys. People are starting to private message me. Hold on. I got to take this call. I got private messages of people calling me about corruption. They're not afraid. Some of them are not afraid. Thank you, Father, for making some people have the audacity to stand up to this corruption. Okay, guys, I appreciate it. I had to go over at a call, somebody checking on me because they see what's going on the page. They're extremely worried about what's going on. They know that I have stirred the pot out in this town, guys. I opened the can of worms, and they're just falling out all over the place, guys, out here. So I had to go through another victim contacted me about Josh Bezel, one of the law enforcement officers out here, and her dealings with going on. And there's multiple. This case is like theirs is. They said it's almost 4 years old as well, and they just don't do anything. So I've got some contacts because I put on the local page that there's corruption within the police and probation department out here. A lot of people are licking boots. They're victimized out here. They've got the Stockholm syndrome, but I'm getting private messages, brothers and sisters, about people who have been victimized by this police department. So apologize for the long-windedness, but I've got to do this for this country. Again, when my tour service ends on my DD 214, although it does say honorable discharge and my tour ETS ends my tour service, it doesn't stop my service to the people of this country, the people to this community, and the people to the state of Oregon. So I will continue until I die just with my mouth to speak up and kill me because of that. They're going to martyr me, brothers and sisters, for being boisterous. You get shot. That's not, that's this country, though. That's what happens. Look what happened, how long Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, whistleblowers get victimized, brothers and sisters. I just happen to be one of those people. So it's because God makes me do it. He says, do not partake in unfruitful works of darkness, rebuke them, put the light on them. Do not hide that light in a basket, put it at the top of the house. So I'm hoping that my Daniel faith was what's going to keep me alive. I'm in a den of lions right now. And I can't do anything but have faith. I can't even leave the state of Oregon. They have literally not allowed me. I'm facing 4 counts of felony charges. I have no criminal record, but I am facing another Class A misdemeanor for criminal conspiracy. It's been a long process already. 4 years I've been exposing the corruption in this county, even longer than that. So, again, in this community, there's a lot of people who just love these cops because they've been victimized by them, brothers and sisters, victimized. So, what's coming up on my screen? Hold on. Let's see what this says here. All right, it don't matter because I'm sure this is going to get everybody. Yes. Boy, we are raising the roof here, guys. So, God, there's a lot of bootlickers out here, guys. So many people. Good. All right. I'm going to stop this live stream for right now. Get some food in my belly. Please call Ted Martin at Lake County District Attorney's Office. Tell him that Tracy has been live streaming and he's not going to stand down until you drop the cases on his son, him, and his daughter. I'm going to live stream until they shoot me, come out here and bring another SWAT warrant. I don't know what they're going to do, but I will fight with my mouth, never with violence. And I haven't shown any. I could have killed 3 men already, and I haven't. So I think my mental capacity is far, it shouldn't be questioned at this point. There could be 3 dead people, 3 separate dead people that I could have legally shot using my constitutional Second Amendment and Fourth Amendment, and they would have been, the state of Oregon would have been liable for those people that were shot, for their families, if they were family members. I don't know who they were, but I know I didn't shoot them, and I know I could have. So that's not a threat of violence. That's a threat that I could have shot him, and I didn't. As a matter of fact, I stuck my hand like a phone with my phone and said to call me instead of shooting them. So if anyone wants to question my mental ability, go ahead. I have 3 people on this rock right now that are breathing because of the Father, not me, because he teaches me to be meek, not weak. I'm a pacifist. Although I am a trained military army killer, I'm not going to use those abilities. My fight till death isn't with weapons. It's with this mouth. It's a bigger threat to these people, obviously. But I'm 100% certain if I would have shot the 2 state troopers that drove onto my property without a warrant after being told, do not enter my property, you're harassing me, you're scaring my son, you're scaring my daughter, don't enter this property. They were armed men, and I could have shot them both dead in the head, headshots, and there's nothing the fucking state could have done but pay a lawsuit for why. I could have sued them for being on my fucking property without a warrant. They came on my road. They were so fucking stupid not to drive the access road that they entered on my road. They don't even know the roads out here. How the fuck these people are supposed to be the state troopers? These people are supposed to be taking care of, the roadways. This is an access road. Don't drive on somebody's fucking property. If you do, you better have warrant. And I'd already told them, don't enter this property. That's why I had tires in front. Don't enter my property. I'm standing up, not standing off. This ain't some Ruby Ridge. And I proved that. So I hope that those people understand they're never going to know that they could have been dead that day. They're so fucking stupid. What a bunch of stupid fucking copsucker and state police thugs. Because of the Father, they're alive. They probably didn't even know that. How stupid is these people are supposed to be law enforcement officials to drive on somebody's property and don't even know the laws they're breaking. 3 men's lives were spared because of my service to the Father, not my service to my fucking country. Fuck this country. My service is to my Father first, then the people of this country. Fuck this country. It's not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. No, it's not a constitutional republic now anymore. It's a democracy. So I'm standing for the constitutional republic and the people who still understand what the rights of the people are here. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare. We, the people, establish this Constitution. We, the people, hold the power in this country. The elected government does not hold the power. They're elected officials. We can remove them from office. We pay these fucking copsuckers salaries. They work for us, brothers and sisters. Do not forget the government, federal government, works for the people. We, the people, are the government. They are supposed to be protecting our rights to make sure nobody encroaches on them, and they're not allowed to make an unconstitutional law. Federal government was not there to put there to make laws. They were there to protect the inalienable rights, the natural rights, the organic, God-given rights of the people. You don't even need to have fucking citizenship in this country to have rights when you're on this land. So I don't want to hear your bullshit. Anybody who's sitting there, give me some other unconstitutional law. I follow laws that are constitutional. A mandate and an ordinance and a code isn't a law. Those are meant for a corporation. Are you a corporation? Well, go ahead and give your authority to that corporation. I never will ever, ever allow my bond to be audited by that. That's what that judge is doing. He works for the bar. You have no idea what's doing. Your capital letter name, that it's, plaintiff, capital letters, that's your tin man. That judge, you have a credit card issued in your name. It's called your capital letter Social Security card. It's a bond. They sell your bond in Treasury on the stock exchange. You're labor. You're a debt slave. You're a corporation, and they sell your debt, Treasury bond, on the stock exchange as a corporation. You're a corporation if your name is written in all capital letters. Your kin sold you out. It was a blood contract at birth. Didn't know that happened, did it? Yes, it did. Your kin, your mom and your dad sold you out to this corporation, your labor, your future labor. And you go to work and you fill out a W-2 and they take out that, right? Well, what do you think that when there's fines in that courtroom, not to the victim, restitution, there's fines. Where do you think that money comes from? Your fucking bond. You're a tin man, your tax ID. You ever see the movie Wizard of Oz? That's about you. You're a straw man. If you only had a brain, you might figure it out. Tin man, tax ID, straw man, tin man, tax ID number. If you only had a heart, you might stand up and do something about the victims who are being victimized under this democracy and stand up against the law, perverted. And if you get prosecuted or martyred, they make you a martyr, brothers and sisters. You become martyred, and then they kill you and they make you a martyr, and they make the word of God come to fruition. Are you afraid to die? Are you afraid to lose your flesh? He said, fear no man that can take your flesh. Only fear who can take your flesh and your soul. So because I stand up, I'm being prosecuted, literally facing 4 felony counts and having my asshole stuffed with Big Bob's cock meat sandwich or from behind. Maybe they'll duel and I'll get a double stuff. For you, I did that, so you know. My asshole is on the line. You ever put your ass on the line for anybody? Literally, my hole in my ass is on the line for you, America. I've been doing this for decades, so this ain't my first rodeo, so I'm not afraid of this. Do you see any fear in these eyes? Tell me now if you see fear. Let's work on this. You see any fear in these eyes? Because I don't fear nothing but the Lord. The judgment that I fear is after I die. Not that I'm not accountable for the things I do here, but no man has dominion over this flesh. Paul said, wrestle not against flesh. If they draw blood, so be it. That's them, not me. I could have killed 3 men dead, and I didn't even do anything of the sort. So I've shown that I'm very reserved and that my thought pattern is extremely clear. And as a pastor and a teacher, that's the only thing that's keeping those 3 men breathing today is my 100% undying faith for my love of the word of God. Under this testament, it says, let vengeance be mine. I'll let God deal with it. I could have killed them legally dead. And it's so funny that I talked about that. Is anything on this property worth dying for? I was protecting myself and could have shot them to protect myself. But guess what? My flesh isn't that damn important. It isn't. I care more about my son being victimized, I'm getting emails, brothers and sisters, private messages, so I got to go, from people who are being victimized in the community that I live in. I posted in my local page, corruption in Lake County. I got a picture of the district attorney, Michael Taylor, the sheriff, the state trooper seal, the state seal of Oregon, and Judge Vandenberg. And this town is going ape shit. You saw that earlier. Lake County Sheriff's Office said they were in here, and I told them to get the fuck out of here, and they left, didn't they? Giving me warnings. We're going to SWAT you again. Did you see it? Were you a witness? Yeah. Somebody please call. If you don't do anything, please call Lake County Sheriff's Office and tell them that there is a Lake County Sheriff's officer not identifying himself, who his badge number or who he is. He's saying he is. He's threatening me. Tell them what you go back and watch the live stream, what that in the chat. Go back up and look where Lake County Sheriff said they were in here telling me to stop, trying to suppress my right of free speech. Again, brothers and sisters, see, for speaking up, they're going to tell me, oh, we're going to do a mental, we're getting a medical. Fuck you, Lake County. How about the 3 people that could have been dead? How about that for mental competency? How about that for keeping my bearing? 3 dead motherfucking people that are alive and breathing today. Do you think they even appreciate the breath that they are breathing? They probably have no idea. Thank you, Father, for the reservation. They're the only way they're going to win this case, brothers and sisters, is they're not going to win it. It's impossible. They have what is called the burden of proof. If there's any doubt, they cannot convict me. And there's doubt coming out my right and left ear. So I'm going to go take a break, get my phone charged up, probably go get some more wood here. Make sure that I'm ready to go for the rest of the day here. I'm going to live stream continuously until they either drop the charges on my son, or they come out here and SWAT me and kill me, shoot me again. They shot my son. They kidnapped my daughter. If you care about your country, you'll do something. So I need you to call Ted Martin's office and let him know I'm going to continue to live stream throughout the day. And if they want to make a call to me to drop these charges, we may be able to, as I said before, negotiate a resolution. But the only resolution I'm going to hear is all charges have been dropped against you, your son, and your daughter, and the no contact orders. You guys can contact each other today. I will not settle for anything but death. I will fight this case until the death, not as a threat of violence, meaning if I do this for another 10 years, I will not stop until Judge Vandenberg is put in prison, Ted Martin is put in prison, Sheriff Michael Taylor, the elected sheriff, is removed from his county seat as an elected official, put in jail, Tom Rourke, and I'd like to know who that police officer was that came in here earlier, if he truly was a police officer, harassing me, who didn't identify who he was, brothers and sisters. You've seen how I dealt with that police officer, telling him, don't you talk, you better identify yourself. Do not let these officers run you like that, brothers and sisters. When that person came in here, no one knows there's a evil lawful next. Guys, I didn't see you guys were making comments. They froze the chat. They do. This is a Shadow Man channel, so I appreciate it. Thank you, Mord. I appreciate support, man. I appreciate the support. You seen what they just did in here earlier, guys. Lake County come and in here and tell me to shut up, stop talking. They're going to do a psychological evaluation. I got 1 hour. I better stop. They called me yesterday. How are the people allowed to impersonate a police officer? Was that Lake County Sheriff? Please call Lake County Sheriff Office and let them know that there is a sheriff impersonating Lake County Sheriff's Office in this live stream. Tell him that I went and I tried to get him to identify himself. He wouldn't, which officer he was, and his badge number. He would make. Brothers and sisters, that is a policy within police department. Guys, anybody can dress up in a fucking police, you can get a cop car. You can buy a cop car. Yes, you can. You can buy a police officer badge. You can get a badge. You can get a uniform. You can dress up just like a police officer, start going pulling people over. That's why they have to identify who they are. and their badge number. Yes, they do. And that fake, I don't know what it was, but I have the screen capture that Lake County Sheriff's Office came in here and told me to stop talking. So please call Lake County Sheriff's Office and let them know that there is somebody, that's a felony, impersonating a police officer. Because you notice when I fired his ass up and told him, you get the fuck out of here, this is your last warning, he left. We never heard anything else from him, did we? So please call Ted Martin's office, Ted Martin, the district attorney, and then the best thing you can do is call somebody outside this state. If I don't get help from somebody outside of the state, I will lose my life, and I will not be able to protect my community. I will not be able to protect this county, the residents, and I will not be able to help my son with the help that he needs to logistically get his name cleared, which I have all the evidence to clear and give my sons 100% innocence. Right now, they're trying to not do it. They're just trying to shove this through. I have a court date, a summons for the 11th of December, and that is just days away. I spoke with that gentleman yesterday, asked him about the 180 hours. He is the investigator on my son's case, and he doesn't know anything about the 180 hours, and this whole case is about the 180 hours. So they just keep sweeping these things under the rug, brothers and sisters. This is how this works. I will not be swept under the rug. I will not be silenced, and I will not let some cop sucker come in and tell me what the fuck to do. I pay their salary. I'm a taxpayer in this county. They're going to do what I say. They've served me. They're public servants, and I will remind every one of them every time I see them, I audit them. That you should be doing that as well. You should never have an interaction with a police officer and not film it. Always film your police officers, sheriffs, public servants, people, anybody's community servant in the line of capacity of their duty. This is how they get away with shit. Oh, you can't film me? How the hell do we know if you're doing any corruption if you guys don't let us film you? Cops say he can't get that camera out of my face. You have the right. Congress shall establish no law prohibiting the exercise of free speech, freedom of the press. That's you, citizen journalists, and freedom of religion. There's more rights, but I'm going to tell you the one that I'm concerned about is the freedom of press. You have the right as a citizen journalist of this country. You don't even have to be a citizen member to have rights. That's right, under the Constitution, to film your public officials in the capacity of their duty. When you come up to them, they have to identify who they are. That could be some fake cop sucker wearing a badge and a suit. So if they don't identify themselves, they're not only breaking their policy, which is all department policy, but you see why I'm telling you why I asked that cop to identify himself, and he didn't. He didn't state which police officer he was by name and what his badge number. That breaks department policy. That should be a disciplinary file. If that was Lake County Sheriff's Office, that person should be put on leave right now because they're breaking the policy. So you can just walk up to fucking anybody's police officer, get the fuck in my car, go into the back. Oh, man, would you like that, honey? Oh, come here, hold on. Come here, bitch. See this tube? You look a little DUI. You look like you've been drinking and driving. Hold on. Bzz, you see this tube right here? What I want you to do is blow on this tube right here. If you pass it, I'll let you go. Go ahead. Give her a try. You don't think this happens? You better be auditing your public officials in the capacity of their duty. They're corrupt. There's never been a cop put in jail. There's never been a judge put in jail. There's never been a district attorney. Bullshit. Cops go to jail every day. Judges get removed from their bench and get disbarred. District attorneys get disbarred, lose their ability to be prosecuting attorneys. Don't act like there isn't corruption in this country. It's rampant, brothers and sisters, and it is probably more rampant in Lake County, Oregon than any other state in this union. Oh, yes, it is. Why would they let a rapist run around free for a whole year when there is evidence on paper, on discovery evidence? He's at this scene of a crime where there's this breaking going on, and he's watching them go through the roof. He's the mastermind. And they didn't do anything. Lake County Sheriff's Office is a menace to this state, and the state troopers are as well. So there's nowhere safe for me in this state, brothers and sisters, and I have been put on a place where I can't even leave the state right now. So they're going to get me. So I hope you have your time that you have with me. I probably will not be on this rock too much longer unless I can get somebody to help me from an outside agency. I love you, brothers and sisters. I'm not trying to be sensational. I don't think I have very many more days on this rock. So I enjoy all the time that I have. I'm going to try to use my time wisely. I got to go. I got so much work to do before I pass. So let me continue and gird it in his service. Fear not, brothers and sisters. I don't fear about losing this flesh. That's the last thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about this is not being done the way the Father wants it being done. And there's some kind of personal motive. I have no motive here, brothers and sisters. My only motive is the Father's will. Please, Father, do not let me do anything of my own. And this next time before I leave and I take my last breath, Father, please be the wind in my sail. Steer this vessel, Father. I'm just the ship. I'm just the vessel. Get your tight, loosen up those tight boards on your ship, brothers and sisters. There's some turbulent times coming. Shifting of the tides, if you will. Please be ready, be girded in his service. Nobody knows the day or the hour. Maranatha, until he returns. He says, have your lamps trimmed, but be burning bright. Loins girded in his service. I hope you're doing his will. I could die today. Christ might not come back for 100 years, brothers and sisters. When the dead raise from the ashes and the dust, when he says, when I return, girded in my service, that's it. That's what he means right there. Has anybody ever taught you that? He said, have your Maranatha until Christ returns, have your loins girded in my service until I return. The return is the seventh trumpet, brothers and sisters. I don't understand if you know what Christ is telling us. When the dead are raised from the ashes, we will all be judged. Nobody has faced judgment yet. Unless you've never sinned, you're not only a child, innocent as a child. So when the dead raise from the ashes and the dust, that could be 10 years from now. Are you ready? Are you ready then? You die today. When I return can be anytime. So what do we got here? All right, brothers and sisters, I love you. I'll see you guys. All right, brothers and sisters, I love you. I'll see you guys, Lord willing, again here soon. I'm going to live stream all day. I got to take care of some things around the house here. So much agape and phileo. Remember, phileo is the things of this world. I have an affection for you guys. Appreciate it. But my love is the Father. Much agape. That's to walk and follow in the commandments of God. So I've got to go do his will right now. I've got to go do work. And I'll be back here shortly. And we'll continue on this evidentiary stream to try to clear my son and help clear some of the victims of this tyrannical system that we all have to be aware of and try not to participate in it. Okay, it's not always easy. So agape and phileo. I am Pastor Apocalypse. That means to lift the veil, to pull off the lies and expose the aletheia, the truth. I am Revelation. That means the same thing, to remove the cover, to lift off the lies and show what's been hiding there all along. Like, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain who's pushing all the levers. And I am Apocalypse. I do that. I pull that veil back so you can see this, what's going on. One broadcast. The word broadcast means to sow seeds. He said, the enemy came and sowed seeds while you're sleeping, brothers and sisters. Have your lamps trimmed, be burning bright. Nobody knows the day or the hour till he returns. He came and sowed seeds while you were sleeping. Don't fall asleep, brothers and sisters. Yes, it is. We live in, there's a third of these dominion, devils, demonions, distributors. Everybody thinks it's just one red little devil here. That's a kitty devil. Christ, the Antichrist, performs all the same miracles and wonders as the Hamashiach. Don't look like some little kitty devil. It looks just like Christ. Careful, not some kitty devil. That's right. And it's not just this one. Remember, there were a third that went with him because of one sin, pride. We're all equals, brothers and sisters. We're all equals. Those that are in the narrow way. Not vipers. Their vessels are wrath fitted for destruction. We love them like we love our neighbor, like we love ourselves. We don't treat them any different.
We are all equals. God doesn't like one above the other. You rip him down from the tree. That's the house of Aaron and Levite. The Jews, they weren't under the law, or the Gentiles were not under the law. They could do whatever they want. It was only applied to the Jews. Now it's the Jews and the Gentiles. That's the King's news. He's coming. He's going to come back and redeem his bride soon, brothers and sisters. Nobody knows the day or the hour. Your death could be day. I might die today. Maranatha, and have your loins girded in my service until I am. He said, before Abraham was, I am, till I return. Isn't that beautiful? Be ready. Be ready. You might be laying in the dust for a long time, so be ready today. Because that's it. When I return, I revel in that day, brothers and sisters. Shiloh, the scepter shall not depart. He was the Lion King, Leo the Lion. Remember, the one he destroyed the physical temple. He's going to stand in front of our Father and say, I paid for that back there, Father. Remember, like the 5 shekels to the king, and I'm covering their sins, Father. Yeah, that's right. So dab those loins, girded in his service, brothers and sisters. What a beautiful thing he's done for this whole all flesh. Not just the Jews, brothers and sisters, but the Jews and the Gentiles. One black, one white, one brown, one red, and one yellow. There are 12 eggs, and 1 dozen is all flesh. But not everybody. Just a little bit of everybody. The word is oligos. O-L-I-G-O-S. Like he says in the book of Luke, fear not. Oligos, flock. That means a little tiny flock. God's bride is a teeny tiny flock. Most people enter through the wide gate and take the broad way that leads to the wide gate, which leads to hell. Very few are willing to narrow. Hados, I am the narrow way. Theolobo, pushed down from both sides. Theolobos, you might want to study a little Greek. Needs to be pinched down to fit through that straight gate. And he says, oligos, same word. Not in your text. Yours says little. It says few back there. Mine says oligos, because I read and study and pastor the Greek. Oligos, find that straight gate. So most people are going to go to hell, according to the word of God. Don't shoot the messenger. Messenger is the word angelos. Angelos, angel and messenger are the same. Hados, same thing. Don't shoot the messenger. Most people enter through the wide gate because they're not willing to deny yourself daily, take up your cross daily, and follow after me daily. Theolobos, fear not. Little flock, oligos, for it is your Father's pleasure to give you that inheritance, the kingdom of God. That's what it is when we meet him in this age of the air. We're here. Welcome to the last book of Revelation. I am Revelation. I am Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.